it's Saturday morning. That only means one thing: getting some gravy made up for tomorrow's Sunday lunch. I've got myself some venison bones that I saved when I was butchering some roe deer in the week that my good friend Doug provided me with. I have left a little bit of the meat on, and I think that just gives it some added flavour, to be honest. I've got some basic stock veg: carrots, celery, leeks, onions, garlic, peppercorns and coarse sea salt. So what I'm going to do is put all of this stuff, the bones, I'm going to cut the veg up, put it in a roasting tin, and stick it in the oven to colour it up. I'm not going to put the herbs in yet because they will dry out. We'll add them later on. So I'll take you through the steps. So like I said, first things first, I'm going to get all this cut up in my roasting tray and give it some colour in the oven. Now all the bones and the vegetables are out the oven, I'm going to add 3/4 of a bottle of red wine. I'm going to bring that to the boil and reduce that by half. So now the wine has reduced down a bit, I'm going to add some tomato puree. Give a good squeeze in there. And this will give it some colour and obviously flavour. Then we're going to add the fresh herbs, then the peppercorns and coarse sea salt, and then top it up with boiling water just to cover everything. And we'll give it a mix. Then turn the heat down to a simmer and just let it simmer down for a couple of hours. So the gravy's been bubbling away now for a few hours. You can see with the bones that are in here, all the meat that was left has fell off it, and it smells really good. Maximum flavour in this. So what I've got is a smaller pan with a colander over it. I'm just going to strain off everything through it, and then we'll get it back on the heat, and we'll go through the next process of thickening it up, and then the gravy's ready. Can't wait for this one. So there we go, I've drained it off into a smaller pan, and if you wanted it as a stock, you'd stop here, because obviously it's not as thick as a gravy, it's more loose, but you've got all the flavour. But because we want a gravy, I've mixed up some corn flour. So tip the corn flour in and give it a mix. So you want to be patient with the corn flour, because people expect it to thicken up straight away and it doesn't. The flour has to cook out. So if you think you've been stood there for a few minutes, one tip I could give you is just get a spoon and try a bit. If the gravy tastes like flour, hasn't cooked out. So if you've been stood there a minute or two longer and you try it again and it tastes like your gravy, just add a little bit more. But this is a stage that you don't want to ruin your gravy out after all these hours of hard work. And it seems like a lot of fuss to make gravy, but believe me, you won't be disappointed in it. If you make a larger batch, chill it down, put it in something like a takeaway tub and freeze it down. Then every week for your roast or whatever, take some out and you've got gravy. So it is worth doing, and it works well with any game carcasses you have. Pheasants, partridge, duck, obviously venison, wild boar, rabbit, or a mix of anything. Sometimes I'll save up, say, my carcasses and bones, freeze them down, and then when I want to make a batch of gravy, I'll take them out and do exactly the same. So I'm just going to thicken this up, and once it's thick, we'll try a bit, and job's a good one. Right, after a few minutes of whisking in this corn flour, it's come to the perfect consistency I want. It's not too runny, but when you drag your whisk slightly backwards and forwards, it feels like it's dense. But you make it as thick or as thin as you want. I'm just going to try a bit, just see if it needs seasoning. No, that's spot on. Right then, I'm going to get this decanted and cooled down. So I hope you like it. Give it a try. Save it some bones. Won't be disappointed this one, folks. Guarantee it.